guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a brand new day and today we will be having some fun. Today we are reading 1-star reviews of books that I, yours truly, rated 5 stars. Now I will say that reading these 1-star reviews in preparation for today, like compiling a few that I was like, yo, I need to talk about this. I was like, am I insane? Am I insane that I like this book, that I rated it like in such an opposite way? But that's why this is so fun, because people have different opinions and this is where those differing opinions come into play. And you know, no hate to these reviewers. They are entitled to their opinions and I'm entitled to mine, and we can have some fun discussion about their books we hate and we don't hate. So that is all that's today going to be. It's going to be a bit of fun. And I am going to defend these books tooth and nail and why I rated them 5 stars. Let's get on to the video. First, on the chopping block, we have Fight by Sloane St. James. This has an average rating of 3.79 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. And I, of course, rated it 5 stars. This is a fireman romance. We have Cal and Scotty, and she just recently moved to town. She got a new job as an EMT, and they meet on a job and they quickly have some chemistry. They do some shenanigans at the back of an ambulance, and then they have a falling out. She goes on a hike, she goes missing, he goes to look for her, and they both end up being stuck up on a lookout tower with a raging snowstorm trapping them inside. And what else do you have to do besides fall in love with each other? So that's what this book is about. I have read this multiple times because I loved it. I loved it and I eat it up like cake. And there are some differing opinions, like Elle, who says, a playboy MMC who fucked everything that moved, and a female main character whose singular sexual partner was her gay husband. What a fresh, interesting take. Now, if you haven't read this yet, our female main character kind of escapes or leaves a cult, and she leaves her husband behind, who is in a lavender marriage with her. This was really interesting to me, and it was fun. It added a bit of angst, and I really like reading about cultish romance books, so this was a lot of fun. Elle, you know, a playboy MMC who fucked everything that moved. I'm trying to recall, but I cannot. I mean, there's a bit of depth to this character and why he has relations with so many women without getting attached. And that is kind of a spoiler, but if you've read the book, you know why he does that. And it's because he doesn't want to get hurt. He doesn't want to get hurt. And, you know, I understand that. And I think that's why I kind of empathized. And I was like, okay, I can kind of overlook the playboy dynamics a little bit. Nick29 says, if I could give this 0 stars, I would. Both MCs were extremely unlikable, him especially. It gave me the ick when he thought about the BJ/hookups he'd have at work, especially when his colleagues/friends were getting BJs from the same woman at the same time. And there they were, all just sitting around talking about it over a beer, like it was a perfectly normal thing that to happen at work. Also, I signed up for fire and got snow. Snow! Oh, and you absolutely cannot call a marriage platonic if you had a sexual relationship with your husband for the entire 14 years you were married. Come on, was this not edited? I think what I got from this book is, like I said, yes, she was in a lavender marriage with her husband for 14 years. But in the book, she kind of explains that she was in love with her husband for a short time. And she just kind of craved that romantic connection that people have who actually like each other and are attracted to each other. So I think they kind of were just coping with the situation they both had, and they kind of didn't see an out. until Scotty was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore, and she left. Then Raven says, I don't believe there's enough cleaning fluid in the world to deal with the back of that ambulance, or indeed my eyes or brain after reading this book. Now Raven, I get it. I also wouldn't want to be in an ambulance that, yeah, I also wouldn't want to be traveled back in an ambulance that was just like ravished like that. And that's where we'll leave it, because it's fiction, and please, this can't happen IRL. Okay guys, it can't happen. Then Madeline says, I don't even want to talk about it. Madeline, that's valid, and you do you, queen. You know, talking is not for everyone, and talking about this book specifically is also not for everyone, so respect. Lastly, we have Hannah, who says, why did he just want to bang the whole time? Like I said at the beginning, is they are stuck in a cabin. It's like a small space, and it's snowing outside, and it's very cold, and you have to like be huddled together for body heat, so they're both hot. What else are you gonna do to pass the time if you're not banging, girl? So that's all I have to say about 5. The next book we have is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. This has a 4.15 star rating on Goodreads, so it's rated pretty highly. And girl, I understand why. This is a sports romance. This is a football romance, and our female main character is his assistant. He's kind of a jerk. And then they kind of get married. It's like a marriage of convenience romance from what I remember. I read this a really long time ago, so things are a bit blurry, but I just remember loving it so much that I had to buy a physical copy of this book. As I said, this is written by Mariana Zapata, and Mariana Zapata is known as the slow burn queen, and that's why this book is over 600 pages long. And I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. But people didn't have the same feeling like Hiba, who said, well, this was really boring. Hiba, I don't get it. I did not find this boring, and I read this in like 2019. Like, this was before COVID. Maybe it's because my attention span wasn't as influenced as it is now, but I loved it and I am obsessed with it. And my young brain ate this up, queen. It ate it up like cake. So Shampa says, already wasted enough time reading this book. I don't have the will or the energy to spend more words and sentences on it than what I'm writing now. But one thing I am sure of is that no matter how much the synopsis and good reviews entice me in the future, I won't read any books by this author. Now, Shampa, fine if you didn't like The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, but girl, you can't miss out on Culty. You can't miss out on this book. You can't miss out on From Luca with Love or Under Lock, because those are also some Mariana Zapata books I have read, I have loved. Those are so good. So Shampa, girl, forget about The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and I entice you to read some of Mariana's other books, okay? The next review, Ivy says, DNF at 60%, I need to stop reading slow burn, I swear it gives me asthma. Well, if you don't like slow burn, you're not gonna like any of Mariana Zapata's books, because like I said, she is the slow burn queen, so if you don't like slow burn, it's no surprise that you didn't like this. Steph says, if any of you know someone that can perform lobotomy on me, so I don't have to waste one more second thinking about the stupid, boring book, please do let me know. Thanks. Listen, Steph, I unfortunately don't know how to do a lobotomy, but I would also like to get one because I would like to reread this book for the first time. So in that aspect, we are in agreement that we both want lobotomies. You to forget, me to forget, and then reread. Our last review, Amani says, the long pipe and mushroom tip do with this line whatever you want. Amani, what I will say, I have read worse. I have 100% seen worse, read worse, and that's not that bad. That's not that bad. And the next book is a recent favorite, and that is From Blood and Ash. I read this for the first time this year, and it was an immediate favorite. I mean, I think the whole series will be a favorite. From Blood and Ash also has a high rating on Goodreads, clocking in at a 4.21 star on Goodreads, which is kind of insane. It's rated pretty highly, but still, as it is popular, there's like a million one-star reviews for us to indulge in. Nell says, really shitty world building, but you know what? I like the sex scenes enough to want to read the next book, not gonna lie. Now, respect, girl. Respect, because, hey, at least we're honest. And yes, the smart was kind of good. You can't lie about it. The smart was kind of good. With the world building, I really enjoyed From Blood and Ash. If you don't know, From Blood and Ash is about this woman. She is like this Virgin Mary who is supposed to ascend and do greatness in the lands. And some stuff is not right. She's like, this shit is weird, and there's some pervy lord that she doesn't like. And then there's this hot new god that's supposed to keep her safe from all these people are randomly dying. So it was a lot of fun. It is not, girl, it's a romantasy book with smut, and it's not supposed to be taken that seriously. It's not like this epic fantasy story, but it was a lot of fun and I enjoyed it. Edgar Allan Poe, yes, says, if the words worship or worshipping appear in one more sex scene, I am suing. Swear to God, I'm calling my lawyer. The fact that I read this stupid book in its entirety proves I don't respect myself. Well, if you must know, Edgar Allan Poe, who doesn't want to be worshipped? You know, I'm seeing all of this, you don't want to see more worshipping. Girl, we all want to be worshipped. And thank you, Hawk, for doing that. Rach, aka, I assume it stands for Rachel, says, what the hell did I just finish? Rachel, a romantasy masterpiece that is on par with Akatar, gave me the same feelings. Sometimes I get so confused at how some people don't like some stuff. Like when I eat like certain foods and someone doesn't like it, I'm like, are you tasting the same fucking thing I am? Because obviously not. How can you not like this? Because are you tasting the same thing I am? And obviously you are not tasting the same thing I am. And I think that's how it goes for books as well. Next we have Vani, who says, boring characters, boring plot, boring smart. The titty sucking at 5% might have been the only good part. Vani, you make me laugh, girl. You make me laugh because that is fucking hilarious. Was it boring? No. Like I said, I read this year, so my brain has been fucked with the attention span dilemma that we've all been facing since COVID. And I still ate this up, girl. I ate this up and I read it like in a few days. So I don't see where we're seeing boring, because it was not boring for me. The last review comes from Nelly Nolcom, who says, in short, this is a Caucasian Wattpad-worthy romance masquerading as an epic, adventurous, and thrilling fantasy novel. DNF at 70% mark. Girl, you were almost finished. You're almost finished. Masquerading as a epic, adventurous, and thrilling fantasy novel. Now that is something. Caucasian Wattpad-worthy romance. You know, Wattpad has produced some of the best fucking things I've ever read. And that is all I'll say on that. Up next is another book I have read maybe 2 or 3 times, and that is Mile High by Liz Tomford. I think one of the best sports romances ever. And that's pretty hard to beat, like when I consider the off-campus series, one of the most superior sports romances to exist. Mile High, and probably the whole Windy City series is pretty much up there with it. Mile High is a hockey romance as well, and it follows, I think, the captain of the hockey team and their flight attendant. And Winner Winner Chicken Dinner, our female main character is the plus size female main character, and you know, you guys just know I love it when they do that. You know, I love it when they do that. I love some body diversity. I love some diversity in my books, period. So let's read some of the bad reviews of this wonderful, wonderful book. First, we have Megan, who says, Mile High, more like Mile Low. I kept turning the pages not out of suspense, but out of sheer hope that the plane would nosedive straight to the ground. Just to spice things up, spoiler alert, it didn't. The only turbulence I experienced was my soul trying to eject itself from my body. If boredom were an airline, this book would be its flagship flying. Boring! Girl, what? See, that's like, are we reading the same thing? This is what, like 500 pages? 500 pages of excellence. And man, if this is boring, I can't believe I've read this 3 times. Like, am I that easily entertained? I'm not sure. Next, Zochi says, DNF at 2%, LMFAO, Liz, you can't write for shit, find a new job. Zochi, now that's not... Zochi, no, that's not nice, girl. Liz Tom 4, don't listen to them and keep writing because I'm excited for the new books you'll be releasing. 2%! Girl, did you even try? Did you even try? 2% is like, wow. 10 pages in or something. Girl, pick that book up and try again. Addison says, what did I just read? This book is worse than hell. Whoever said this book is good, I hope both sides of your pillows are warm. I wanted to DNF this every other page. It felt like reading something a horny 10-year-old boy would write. 0 out of 5 stars. First of all, that's a threat. Addison, how dare you? How dare you say that about my precious little book over here? Written by a 10-year-old boy. Girl, no. Just no. Just no. The next book we have is also quite a recent read, but a veteran amongst the Booktube community, and that is City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. Now this has a 4.6 star rating on Goodreads. So this is pretty well received. I think the whole series is pretty like well received. It has like rave reviews, New York Times bestsellers, many a movie adaptations, even a show adaptation. So it was time that I finally read City of Bones, and even though there are like millions of 5-star reviews, 4-star reviews, there are quite a few of 1-star reviews as well. Disaster, who says, Sweet Home Alabama. Now, you see, Disaster, I can see what you mean by that, and they read this in 2021. So I think the Shadowhunter show was already out, and if I didn't mention, I did watch the show. I've watched the show and I've watched the movie before I read this. So I knew and I know what's to come. So I knew it wasn't real. Like, so it was kind of a spoiler, and I think maybe if I've read this before I watched the show, I might have had another opinion or other feelings about this book. But since I didn't, I know the Sweet Home Alabama isn't really Sweet Home Alabama-ing. Okay? Jaina says 1.5. Shut up. I was liking the book at first, but that complicated relations was not necessary at all. Jaina, I get you, girl. I get you, girl. When I first watched the show, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But it gets better, and the relations do get untangled. Now for a review that had me want to curl up and die, and that is Rekha's review. She says, once you realize it's a Draco/Ginny fanfic, you can't unsee it. And I really had to think about this. Because she's right. Fuck. She's fucking right. She is so right, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off, and my perception is tainted. When I continue the series, it is tainted. I will never see Jace and Clary the same way again. Draco and Ginny fanfic? Girl, get out of my face, honestly. Next, we have Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Ma. I recently read the third in the series, and if you know me, you know I love the series. I can't stop raving about Assistant to the Villain. She is the assistant to the kingdom's villain, and there's a bunch of shenanigans. Her mother's missing, her father is like a deadbeat, and the tension is tensioning. There's like this cute little frog with a crown, and he talks with signs, and he's so funny, and I really love this book, and I really love the series. But again, like all of these other amazing books, some people have some things to say, like Patricia, who says, I highly recommend this if you have sleeping problems. I'm sure it'll help. This, boring. Incorrect. This was like the farthest thing from being boring. I think it like had me on the edge of my seat. I think I fell in love with this book from like the first chapter. And I loved it. I loved this book. It's like such a fun, quirky little fantasy book, and I loved it. Then we have Your Mom, who says, wow, that was super bad. Your mom. Then we have Nichi, who says, this book's reading experience was the equivalent of licking drywall while on Klonopin. What a waste of my fucking time. I can't be mad at you because you're funny, so that's not fair. That's not fair. The next book we have is Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. This has an average rating of 4.25 stars on Goodreads, which is pretty high. Darling Venom is a booktok sensation. This book follows our female main character, male main character, and the male main character's brother. So the whole thing starts with these two characters meet up on a roof. They meet on a roof and they're both about to commit. And they decide not to do it, and instead every year on this day they will meet back on the roof and like be friends or whatever. And then one day he doesn't show up because he does end up committing. So it's kind of torturous, and she kind of then meets his older brother, and I think he really loved his brother who died, and he just wants to know everything about this girl that was seemingly so important to him. And there's like this manuscript where it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane, but it was really good. And I think my review was like, holy fucking shit. I think that was my 5-star review, and I still stand by that because holy fucking shit. Pradama says, only giving it a 1 because the author is a K-pop stan, but overall some authors should not be writing. Pradama, what the fuck are we doing? And that is valid, and you are valid, and thank you for the review. Next we have Winfield, who says, I really hated this book. I tried reading this book 2 times for 2 different reading groups. I really did not care for either character. I wish they had just jumped off the roof. The biggest turnoff, the author is so wordy. OMG, why is this book so long? I think where she's coming from being too wordy, this book is really set around this manuscript that I think his name was Kellan wrote about Charlotte, the female main character. And I feel being wordy and poetic in the book, in its writing, was kind of to simulate that book, because the manuscript is called Darling Venom. So it's kind of like this meta thing. So I can't remember it being like too, oh my god, what the fuck. Like, you know, when we heard like the Tortured Poets Department for the first time, I was like, what the fuck is this girl talking about? But now you get it. Now you get it. You get it. The next book we have is Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. This has a 3.65 star rating on Goodreads. And I also recently read this. I think I read this last year. Don't go crazy. I have read the whole Twilight series like years ago. And I didn't really like it. I didn't really get the hype. But then I reread the first one, Twilight, and I fell in love. I fell in love and I was like, now I see what shit you're talking. And I really enjoyed it. And I rated it 5 stars. Now, keep in mind, this has been around for a long ass time. So these reviews are from like 2010 to like recently. So we have some cultural differences now. Like, society is different. My phone doesn't have a keyboard anymore. So let's see. Kaz says, so I reread Twilight 10 years after I first read it, and I guess you could say I didn't love it as much as I did back then. Which is funny, because I also recently reread Twilight, and I did love it. The first time, I did not. Livia says, did I like it? No. Will I read the next one? Yes. See, don't hate the player, hate the game. Because Stephanie Meyer knows what she's doing, even if this is kind of Mormon fan fiction. We love it. Like, what else do you expect from the genius that inspired 50 Shades of Grey? Amanda says, Romeo and Juliet with fangs. However, the great thing about Romeo and Juliet is that at least both of them die in the end. No such comfort awaits the Twilight reader. Even from the first book, you know that they're destined to live together, or for at least 3 more long-ass books. The road to hell is paved with Stephanie Meyer novels. Do you want them to die? Amanda, do you want them to die? And I will let you know that Love Story by Taylor Swift tells me that I don't want them to die. Girl, Love Story by Taylor Swift is literally Twilight. I just realized that. Then our last review, Rachel says, couldn't even finish it. I was hoping for some kind of meaty exploration of the physiological implications of being a member of another species, living amongst, befriending, falling in love with people you would consider prey in other circumstances. What I got was a straight up romance novel starring Miss Mary Sue and my evil ex-boyfriend. Super yuck. No. Now this was rated 2010, and girl, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt because I watched the films before I ever read the books, and I think that really set me up for what this book is. And if you put Twilight and philosophical, girl, am I saying that word right? Philosophical in the same sentence, you will be laughed at. You will be laughed at. Okay guys, that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, thank you. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It is completely free. Give this video a like. It lets me know that you like this content, this video. And if you want me to see more of this, let me know some of your opinions down in the comment section, like which of these books you loved or hated. Maybe add your own 1-star review and I can read them in the next video. Then don't forget to follow me on social media. The notification will pop down here or here. I think this side. The notification will pop down on this side. Question mark? I don't know. And thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you when I see you. Bye bye.